Hey guys, Shogun and I here, and I have a couple of announcements to make before this video actually starts. I am going to be making a couple more videos than I do regularly about Magic the Gathering. So don't worry, there will still be MTGIFs. These are just also extra little Battle for Zendikar videos that you guys can enjoy. So enjoy. Also, I am sorry about the video schedule and like how everything's become like super sporadic and stuff. I have been having quite a rough time adjusting to getting back in school, so that's been taking away a lot of my time. So I will continue like VBVBBB, even though it's not that good of a series, and other games and like vlogs and stuff. So don't worry about that. It's just right now Battle for Zendikar is my main priority. On that note, look at all these new cards that have been leaked. I'm not taking any delays on this one. We're diving right in with Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. I'm not really a fan of the Eldrazi, or at least playing them, but I sorta like these changes actually. Besides, at least Ulamog looks cool as ever. Next up is an instant that every Eldrazi player can get behind, Titan's Presence. It's incredibly good. Time for Blightherder. Keep that ability in mind, by the way. It'll be important later. Hopefully you'll see what I mean. Now here's where things start to get interesting, and where I sort of jump on board with the whole Eldrazi thing. I actually really like the keyword mechanic Devoid. I think it very much fits the Eldrazi theme, and I think it makes sense that you can summon certain Eldrazi with certain mana, but keeping that centralized theme of having them be colorless creatures. I like that a lot. And also, instead of summoning Eldrazi spawns, this creature summons an Eldrazi Scion, which instead of being a 0/1 is a 1/1. On that note, we actually come to another really well designed Eldrazi card, showcasing another mechanic that seems to be Eldrazi exclusive, Ingest. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top card of his or her library. It makes sense from a mechanical and a lore-based standpoint because the Eldrazi are known for completely obliterating everything in their path. Cool mechanic, cool card. I know it's an Eldrazi, and I don't really like Eldrazi, but that's mainly because I don't like Annihilator, and I think that the Eldrazi are just sort of overpowered, but a 10-8 for 8, you know, that's not bad. You'd spend 8 mana to cast that. That's, you know, that's decent. And I really like cards that make every single creature block them when they attack. I don't know, it's just something that I enjoy. So, yeah, I like this one. Eldrazi Devastator's sort of in that same boat as Breaker of Armies. I like both of them, but I do kind of like Breaker of Armies a lot more. It's solid though. It's a more mana-heavy version of Palladium Mirror. Stick to Palladium Mirror. Oh look, returning from Eldrazi vs Zendikar, it's Oblivion Sower with a new artwork. It's really good. Use it if you like Eldrazi. I think this is another really good minor Eldrazi card. You should totally use it. And just sort of a generic black Eldrazi card. I know it's kind of weird to say considering I've only reviewed one more, and there's only at this point only one more. I said only twice. But like, stick to Dominator Drone. It's better. I can see how this could be incredibly powerful in the right deck. Attack with colorless creature, wait until the end step, sacrifice target creature, and then deal even more damage. It's gonna be a blast. Battle vs Zendikar hasn't just showed us the first colored Eldrazi we've ever seen before, it's also apparently showed us the first multicolored Eldrazi we've ever seen before. Forerunner of Slaughter is pretty dang good. It can give itself haste, and other things haste, and that's really good as long as they're colorless. Finally, no more Eldrazi just yet. However, we do get blue spells, so that's always cool. Let's see. 4 mana, draw 2 cards, and this showcases a new ability called Awaken, which is where you can pay a couple extra mana, you know, depending on whatever it is. And then if you cast a spell for, you know, that cost, you can also put 4+1/+1 counters on target land you control, and it becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste, and it's still a land. This is pretty interesting. It fits in with the theme of like Worldwake and Nissa, and yeah, it's cool. You didn't think I'd forget about Landfall, did you? No, and R&D didn't either. 5-drop, 4/5 flying with whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. If that land's an island, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. This is really cool. I like it. Ruinous Path is unbelievably good. To put this in perspective, Murdercast's exactly the same, and it can't destroy planeswalkers, also it can't awaken lands. This is really good. Use it in every single black deck ever. This one's sort of weird. It's kind of like a half-assed attempt at things that have already been done before, like Sunburst and Domain, and Sunburst was cool, I guess, even though it wasn't very good, and I guess Domain was kind of cool, even though it wasn't very good. But This is okay, I guess. This is something I can get behind. It's sort of like an inverted fireball, although not that inverted. Either way, it's pretty cool. Green can't get enough mana to cast this pretty easily. This is really good for green decks. This is another really genuinely good creature card that has a lot of fun with the landfall mechanic. Instead of just having any land do something, it's a type of land that it shares colors with. It does extra things. I really find that enjoyable. That's awesome. This is one of my favorite cards in the entire set, Retreat to Kazandu. It's a 3-drop green enchantment with landfall. Whenever your land enters the battlefield under your control, you get to choose to either put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or gain 2 life. Now that may not seem too great, but from a lore-wise perspective, it's awesome. Remember those lands that were like Dwar Isle Refuge or like some other refuge? Yeah, Kazandu was one of them. It was red and green. This is so cool! It's a love letter written to Zendikar fans! On that note, I think a few less people recognize Emiria until they see this card. And then there's Sheer Drop, which seems to be the de facto White Awaken card. It's not bad, it's just also not great. Oh my god, the allies are back! I love the allies in Zendikar. They're one of my favorite things about it. And this is a prime example of what allies can do. This is Hero of Gomafada. 5-drop white 4/3 with Rally, new keyword ability. Whenever Hero of Gomafada or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. This is what I like to see. The allies can defeat the Eldrazi, or just Zendikar can defeat the Eldrazi, because I don't like the Eldrazi. Now, children, are you ready for my favorite card so far? It's just so beautiful. So this is actually a really good time to talk about this card because it's my favorite card from the set and I think it's really like shows. Gideon turns into creatures. That's his thing. He turns himself into a creature and kicks ass on his own. That's awesome. Gideon is one of the cooler planeswalkers. You know, like almost all of them are cool except for like Tezzeret and fucking like Tybalt or whatever. Tybalt's awful. Sorry for all you Tybalt fans out there. I just think he sucks. And I'm not sorry for you Tezzeret fans. Sorry. But anyways, after that, Gideon not only turns into like a white creature soldier as he typically does, but he turns into a creature soldier ally, and he creates allies, and he makes emblems that only cost 4 loyalty points that give all your creatures +1/+1. He is extremely good, but not broken. I love it when Magic can pull stuff like this, and it just makes me so happy. It touches me so much. Anyways, we have another really good ally called Veteran War Leader, but even though he was showcased in Zendikar vs Eldrazi, he's still really good and he's getting reprinted in Battle for Zendikar. It's time for the newest installment of Jace, Architect of Sass! You're beginning to understand the Hedron's true purpose, said Ugin. The Eldrazi can be imprisoned. And how did that work out last time? Asked Jace. Anyways, lastly, we have some wonderful new lands to check out. They're all basic lands, except they're all 2 basic lands at the same time. Sort of like what they did in Ravnica, but a little bit different. We have Canopy Vista, Cinder Glade, Prairie Stream, Smoldering Marsh, and my favorite, Sunken Hollow. All I can say about this is please, in the name of all enemy colors anywhere, please print enemy colored lands based off of these. For the love of God, enemy colors get so shunted and I love them so much. Please print enemy land versions of these. Thank you, Shogun I. And as our last creature and second to last stop, we have Omnath, Locus of Rage. New face for an old friend. There will be EDH decks made of him. They are already pre-made. They are going to be very good, because he is very good. And lastly, Magic has announced that they are going to reprint certain lands from Magic's history. This is called Zendikar Expeditions, and they are about as rare as opening up a foil mythic rare. There are 25 different lands, and the only ones that we've seen so far is Arid Mesa from Zendikar and Steam Vents from Ravnica. Good God, I hope I can get my hands on one of these. Anyways, this has been Shogun I, and I'll see you guys fighting for Zendikar. I'll be on that side too, my allies. Bye bye.